Repaints. In the world of the Transformers, they're a tale as old as time. Starscream, Skywarp, Thundercracker, repaints. Rumble, Frenzy, no matter what colors you assign to them, repaints. Laserbeak, Buzzsaw, repaints. And in this video, I have more repaints for you, but they're a little later, most of them, in the timeline. I have 6, I'm making sure I got 3 fingers up on each hand, that I think are super cool. And in some cases, it's multiple repaints. So, are you ready to have fun with repaints? I know I am. And if you are new to the channel, I'm Captain Kyle. Welcome aboard. If you've been watching for a while, well, thanks for coming back. I think you know what's going to happen. I see a lot of Jean-Claude Van Damme poses. But let's get to it. Oh, bumper. Be right back. So the first toy I'd like to show you goes back to Transformers Universe. Yes, this is Transformers Universe Soundwave. Now, he was packaged with Space Case back in 2004, but he is a repaint, and he is a repaint of Machine Wars Soundwave. Yes, so Machine Wars came about during the Beast Wars era because some rep said something he shouldn't at a BotCon where everyone was saying, "Hey, we like truck, not monkey." And he said, "Don't worry, you're gonna get Transformers soon enough that are just like the old ones. You get Starscream and Optimus Prime and Soundwave," and I think he got fired, but Hasbro had to kind of fulfill his promise, so they came out with Machine Wars back in the 90s. But he, in fact, is a repaint of the European exclusive Predator Stalker. They're an imposing group, most definitely. Now, this Stalker I actually picked up at Niagara Falls Comic-Con. Got a good deal on him. He is missing a few of his missiles. He comes with his missile launcher, which is amazing that it's not broken because it's gold plastic. And if you're not familiar, the old days gold plastic had a tendency to crumble and crack very easily. So I'm being very careful with this gun. He's also missing his radar dish, what the other guys have. If I come across a radar dish from either of these guys that I don't need to put on one of these guys, he'll get one. But, or, you know, if I find an original, that'd be amazing. But so this 2 Soundwaves and a Stalker, that didn't sound right. Soundwave has a Stalker. But yes, these Soundwaves were again released during Universe and Machine Wars, and they were based on this one because Hasbro was like, we need molds, let's do something. So Machine Wars consisted of some unused G2 molds, which were the flip changers, which are awesome. I love flip changers. And then on the Decepticon side, they used Skyquake, recolored him into Machine Wars Starscream and other ones. So that's going to be in a future repaint video. I just gave it away that it's not in this one. But yes, so they had Skyquake, made into Starscream. They took Stalker, made him into Soundwave. They took Thunderclash, made him into Optimus. They took Rotorstorm, made him into Sandstorm. So these guys are very cool. I am going to demonstrate the posability. If you're expecting a Jean-Claude Van Damme, this is technically, well, this one is technically G1. G1 European, but G1. There's going to be no Jean-Claude Van Damme. Basically, he can kind of bend his knee a little bit, like he's kissing somebody. His arms, maybe if I take the missile off, can go all the way around, doesn't bend at the elbow, fists don't move, head doesn't turn. That's pretty much it. He does have light piping, the Machine Wars one, and they all do actually. The Universe one has green light piping, and the Predator Stalker has a different shade of green. It's very close. Might be the same. Now, what's interesting, he's got the blue tip. So he's got blue eyes. You could only see how blue his eyes could be when he shot at Autobots. Anyway, the eyes match the translucent barrel or the tip on the missile or rocket or whatever that is. It's basically, I always took it that this could go up in the air and allow communications, spying from a distance, and even come down and fire lasers. I don't think it was going to explode, but it would be used as a weapon. Now, what's interesting in Europe, and Canada got them too. I was informed of this, and it's true. I'm assuming I wasn't there. But with this rocket, there were these Predator jets, and they would have these little things that you can put here, and you can look through, and it was like a scope. Now, he's got a little flip thingy inside that if I look through, I can actually see, and I can't show you on here, but to get one of these, you can look through as long as there's light, and you can actually see Rotorstorm, and it gives all kinds of readouts. It even has a pie chart that looks like Pac-Man. But the Predators jets could actually put their readout things into the rocket and you could read different things. So you could move that out of the way and you could read their stuff using this rocket. Very cool gimmick. Again, it was only released in Europe and in Canada. So to Canadians, these aren't all that big of a deal, perhaps. But a very cool set. Now, they all transform. And what do they transform into? I'm putting this aside carefully. They transform into a missile truck. And the transformation is pretty simple. I would give you instructions, but it's that simple, you don't really need them. Oh, I did forget to mention, he does twist at the waist. It's part of the transformation. My bad. And his arm actually kind of bends inward slightly. Oh, and just so you know, they did take out that functionality. There is a piece that moves back and forth, but it's clear it doesn't have anything on it. You could probably still use the Predator jets with this guy. It would just look a little bit different. And with the one from Transformers Universe. I stand slightly corrected. The missile for the Universe Soundwave, when you flip up the piece to look through, you see an Autobot symbol in a target, which is kind of cool. But there you have them, 3 missile tanks. Now, they do actually have little wheels on the bottom, but they pretty much slide. They're kind of useless wheels. But that is our first of 6 repaints, and I can't put them all on the turntable of doom. They won't fit all at once, but they are cool, and I'm glad that I have a task force that can basically cause the Autobots some trouble. Come, my Decepticons! Destroy the Autobots! As you command, Megatron. Hey, why you guys talking about that? So 3 of the repaints will actually be based on what's in this box here. I'm not opening up this box. This is a sealed Transformers Robots in Disguise set. So Robots in Disguise 2001 was brought over from Japan. They had car robots, but Hasbro likes to expand things. So what they did was they added some jets. They added a bunch of non-show toys, including a Megatron head. But they came out with this 3-pack, which they're a bunch of repaints of Beast Machines toys. So I'm gonna show you one at a time. And we will start with Mirage from Beast Machines and his repaint, Mirage GT. Don't fall over, dude. Now, Beast Machines was not a super successful line. It wasn't a super successful cartoon. Part of the reason is because they rushed through the ending of Beast Wars because they were also going to be producing the show for Canada. So they decided to change it to Beast Machines because Canada doesn't like war in the title. And they actually had Beasties was what they called it, I believe, in Canada. So they decided to rush through the ending of, which was a spectacular ending of Beast Wars. And then they started with Beast Machines. And the toys that they put out, well, the first wave was Jetstorm. Cool toy. Didn't really look like what was on the screen. He was a deluxe. They did another deluxe, which was Optimus Primal. Looked nothing like the show. And they put out Buzzsaw, who was never in the show, Mirage, who was never in the show, and Scavenger, who was never in the show. All G1 names, all characters, non-show characters, and they weren't popular toys at the time, especially Buzzsaw, for Buzzsaw. But Mirage, I thought, was a very cool toy, despite the fact that he was not actually featured on the show. Now he's got these 2 arm missiles that you basically push, and they can fall out pathetically. Or if you push with some force, they might actually go flying. I don't want to do that. He's got a gun on his head. This mold was considered for a BotCon exclusive, and it was actually shown in the comic book for DevCon. DevCon, of course, being from G1, and they wanted to recolor this. So the way BotCon used to work when they were working with Hasbro is Hasbro would give them a bunch of choices of molds that they could recolor for exclusives, and then they would pick them out. And one of the choices was DevCon as a Mirage mold in different colors. There may be a picture. If there is, I'll put it on the screen. So the mold, while not used in the show, is actually pretty cool. Now he's got a gun on his head that you can actually detach. It pops off and put in his hand, which is kind of a cool feature. Now the gun being attached to his head actually helps him out having a weapon in vehicle mode. Now these are not supposed to be necessarily robots in disguise because they are minions, Viacon. Well, this one's a Viacon who is under the control of Megatron, who took over. So you gotta watch Beast Machines. It's a lot of running in the first season, a lot of Zen meditation, but it's not a horrible season when you get to things like Obsidian and Strike and stuff like that. It has its good points. It has its bad points too. He's got molded missiles on his arms. He's very cool this way. I am going to show some posability. This is an Autobot. This is a Viacon. Bad guy, good guy. Both named Mirage. This guy just says GT at the end. I don't know what the GT stands for. Grand Turismo. I wouldn't even begin to think about it. But Beast Machines and Beast Wars are pretty damn posable. Full Jean-Claude Van Damme. How is that? And Sky is here because she likes Mirage. Viacons. Pretty evil. Now, there were no ankle tilts, ankle swivels, anything like that in the days of Beast Machines. Now, he could actually twist around at the waist, which is kind of cool. He could kick forward. Kicking back, he ran into the front of his car. Side kicks, well, you could kind of do a crescent side kick. Going straight out to the side was a little limited. The arms go all the way around, bends at the elbow, he's got a swivel. I mean, pretty good posability. And the head could go all the way around as well. Plus, you could aim the gun. Aw, ain't she sweet. I mean, when Beast Machines came out, I bought Buzzsaw, Mirage, and Scavenger. And I thought they were cool. And when the 3-pack came out, I was like, I like these colors even better. They both have some transparent plastic, but Mirage GT, I think, looks a little bit cooler. But of course, I think they're both cool. I actually have multiples of this one. Now, this was considered a basic at the time. And he stands, if you count his gun, he's like about 4 3/4 inches. If you don't count the gun, he's like 4 1/4. Gun adds some height, but let's put them in their vehicle mode. So there they are in their vehicle modes. Very cool Cybertronian looking race cars, somewhat Earth-like. The weapons, the missiles are actually here. You can still launch them, but they look like pipes, like exhaust pipes. You have the guns in the front, and if you want, you can turn the head around so he could be like a drone, like back in the days of Viacons. Like I said, they were not bad toys at all. The whole reason they only came out with 5 for the Beast Machines is they invested heavily in Jar Jar Binks toys. Well, episode 1 toys, and they did not sell quite as well as they hoped. But pretty cool lengthwise. If you count to the end of the pipes, it's like 6 inches, but about 5. All right, roll test. They actually roll pretty well, as long as you have everything lined up properly. I would say they made maybe some improvements with the Mirage GT, but there you go. That is our second of 6. This is gonna be a long one. But before we get into others now, here we have Hotshot. Basically Cybertron Hotshot, kind of a homage to his Cybertron defense form. And he is a repaint and a little bit of a remold. So as we get closer to modern day, there's a lot fewer just straight repaints. I mean, obviously with the Elite Seeker, he's a straight repaint of Ramjet and Sandstorm and Cloud Cover. Those are all great repaints. Seekers are kind of like that. But what they've been doing in a lot of cases is doing a little bit of remolding as well as repainting. So this is a repaint / remold of Siege Hound, the Generation Select Cybertronian Defense Hotshot. And both of them stand about 5 1/4 inches. And it is a very cool mold. Now, what I find interesting is you can apparently easily put Hound's gun into his shoulder like so. Let me try it again. I was having a little trouble. No, I got it in. So if you want Cybertron Hotshot to also have a shoulder cannon, he can. Now, they also come with a spare tire. I have one too, but mine's different. That can go on the back of the weapon, almost like an extra energy pack or something like that. So it's pretty cool. So they're well outfitted, and I'm gonna quickly go through some posability. And since this is based on Siege, you can expect a lot, because he's got ankle swivels up the wazoo. Full toes up Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he can even roll from side to side. He can kick forward. He can kick back. He can kick to the side. Bends at the knee. Swiveling. Well, that's not a lot. That's with a lot of the Hound molds that they've based like the Earth-style Hound on this mold, and they don't swivel either. But he can twist at the waist all the way around. Arms go all the way around, can go off to the side, do the YMCA, bends at the elbow, swivels, the fists turn as well, and the head, if I can get to it with this shoulder cannon, goes all the way around. So very posable figures, which is what we expected from Siege. And the deco, you can definitely see, well, the new face, but you can definitely see where the Cybertron Defense Force Hotshot's there, but he's still got battle damage, which doesn't seem to be as much on Hound. So what you been doing with yourself, man? So there they are in vehicle mode, and I gotta say, I really enjoy this particular mold. I do enjoy the fact that all the wheels are stored in the legs in robot mode. He's got plenty of weapons, and it's just a clever transformation. And I do actually prefer the Cybertron shot colors for a Cybertronian vehicle. This definitely looks very much Earth-like. I don't know how much camouflage green would be on Cybertron, but they are about 4 inches, slightly more in length, and they roll, so. Now some Siege toys can't roll for shit. These actually do quite well. I think the mold is well designed. I really enjoy just the clever transformation and, you know, great posability. And who doesn't like Hound? You know, I mean, Cliffjumper almost got him killed once, but he doesn't mean he doesn't like him. So there you go, number 3. So this is Scavenger from the Robots in Disguise line, and he's an Autobot. This is the Viacon. I did think that Scavenger was an interesting design. He's well armed, and yes, I'm going through the 2 that were released in the less than popular first wave of Beast Machines, but there's the 3rd one. He's pretty dang cool. But he's got missiles here, he's got a friggin' Gatling gun on the side, so he doesn't actually need a handgun. And behind his head, it looks like you got an extra little missile pod launching thing, so pretty dang cool. Now he's got these pincers that can pinch. They are gold chrome on the new Scavenger, the Autobot, and silver chrome, which is wearing a little bit. I should probably touch that up on the old Scavenger, and he's pretty cool looking. The vehicle mode is out of this world. It's definitely Cybertronian, but let's go through some posability, and we'll use our Autobot here, who, you know, looks very cool. The only indication he's an Autobot is on the side of one of his treads. I actually don't see a Viacon symbol on that Scavenger. But all right, let's take a look. Of course, no ankle swivels, Beast Machines days, but can he do it? Wow, I was a little concerned, but he can do a full Jean-Claude Van Damme toes up. He can kick forward, he can kick back, bends at the knee, but when he bends at the knee, the tread kind of goes forward. So you can like club somebody as he's kneeing. Sidekick, well, because of the tread, he gets blocked. But he does swivel because he's got a ball joint in his knee, so you can go that all the way around. Does he twist at the waist? That does not wait. Yes, he does. It's just a little stiff. I haven't really twisted him around at the waist. It's basically right here. So this part can't twist, but right below it can. So that's kind of nice. Arms all the way around, bends at the elbow, swivels. It ain't turning. That's not doing nothing. That's where his face is, and that's where it's going to stay. But kind of also reminds you of like the, what was it, Ed 209 in RoboCop. Deco couldn't be more different for the Autobot. I do prefer the blue. That's not horrible colors, but you know, the blue and the white and the gold, I think pop a bit more. All right, spin on the turntable of doom. Again, I told you the story of Beast Machines and, you know, the 3-pack, so, but I do have to say, it is a weird alt mode, so it's not a horrible thing, but it's a weird thing. Oh, by the way, he's got a crystal. If you open up the side, that shows the Viacon symbol. Here he just shows his ball. I guess he has one. So there they are. They look like something you'd see in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If you pull back on this lever here, the mouth opens so they can chomp, 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 chomp. They also can go to different sides. So I kind of guess this is where the Scavenger came in. They're like, he's similar to the Constructicon. I'm sure he would be appalled. Again, the nice weapons here, treads in the front, wheels in the back. And this is kind of like, I don't know, tilling fields, getting them ready for a hurt. I don't know. It basically, they back into somebody and cause some damage. Now they do have wheels on the treads and they roll somewhat. Again, it seems like maybe they made an improvement, or am I just slightly misaligned? I think they did make an improvement. So this one could definitely get away. The Autobot could get away from the Viacon. How dare you have my name? Fuck you. Okay, so again, very cool repaints. I really like the repaints. And, you know, I even like the original. So before we get into the third of that set, I have a different repaint for you. They call him Roadbuster Ultra Magnus. He is from the Transformers animated line, and he is a repaint of Ultra Magnus. Now, I really enjoyed the animated line. I think I have just about all the figures except for some reason, I don't know what happened to it. Maybe it went in the purge. I'm missing my leader class bulkhead with the headmaster head. One day I'll find one and get it. And I actually had not gotten the Roadbuster Ultra Magnus until more recently. I got this Ultra Magnus when the line came out, but I wanted the Roadbuster one and found that at a place called Farpoint Toys. But he's a very cool, though a little dusty, mold. Shoulders are kind of a pain in the ass in transforming him, but it was an interesting universe where David K got the voice Optimus Prime and not Megatron. And you disappoint me, Starscream, very much. It had great moments. I loved it. I wish they had gone further with it, but as what happens with most Transformers shows, they cite up, we got to finish up, and they rush the end. But they had lots of great homages to G1 in there, and Magnus was apparently like the leader, whereas a Prime, like Sentinel Prime or Optimus Prime, was kind of like maybe a captain, whereas this was like the general, or was a colonel. I don't know the ranking systems, but very cool. Now I tried to put batteries in this one. Apparently the electronics don't work. But electronics worked in this one.
We must return the old spark to Cybertron. Ultraman, don't be a hero, Optimus. He's not in your programming. We must return the old spark to Cybertron.
It says some good things and, you know, kind of totally dissing for Optimus Prime. And, you know, flashing lights. It's pretty cool. I wish the electronics worked in this one. Maybe I'll ask a friend to look, but I don't know how easy it would be to get that repaired. But it is a very cool mold, and he has the hammer. It's hammer time. Yes. He who wields this hammer can nail people. Shut up, Logan. It is kind of neat because you can actually push it in, and if you pull on the handle, whoop, that's not very impressive. Let me take it off here. If you pull on the handle, it pops out. Kind of neat. It also stores in him in his vehicle mode. Now this is the biggest repaint I'm showing, and with his massive shoulders, and he's like 9 inches tall. I mean, he could probably go toe to toe with a lot of G1 combiners. But he was kind of a prick. No, he was more out of touch. The real prick was Sentinel Prime, who was voiced by Thompson Coleman, who also voiced the Tick. And they actually modeled Sentinel Prime after the Tick, so it was an inspiration for that. Well, a very cool mold. Let's get into some posability, and we'll use the new one. So I'm going to take the hammer out. Hammer time. Never mind. So it was Transformers animated. There are no ankle swivels, but I am curious, and I do have my doubts. Alas, a little top heavy. He comes close, but no Jean-Claude Van Damme. Kicks forward though, pretty good. Kicks back, kicks to the side, bends at the knee very nicely. Swivels all the way around, right above the knee. Can he twist? He can't twist, but the arms can go all the way around. Bends at the elbow, and actually move the shoulders. Has a swivel. His fingers open and close. He's got a grip in hand. And the head can turn from side to side, but not all the way around. And you can bring up shoulder cannons if you want. I think I have to move that up. And he's got cool shoulder cannons, and guns come out of the top of that. And he's got these shoulder cannons that he can actually fold away when he doesn't want to intimidate people. And you can move his knee things. So when he's kneeing somebody, he can grab their balls and rip them away. So a very cool repaint of Ultra Magnus. Was this going to be called Roadbuster? I kind of wish they had done that because, you know, I'll just call him Roadbuster. They could have recolored the head though, you know, instead of making it look exactly like the regular Ultra Magnuses. But I'll put him on a spin on the turntable of doom, put his guns away, and time for vehicle mode. So there they both are in vehicle mode. Oops, I'm gonna do one at a time on here just so they don't crowd each other, but they both look very cool. It's some kind of armored vehicle. You can flip open the front and pull out the weapons if you'd like. The over-the-shoulder weapons can come forward as well, and you can launch these, and apparently you can make noise with it too, which I'm not exactly sure how I did that. I think it's something in here. Not even sure. Oh, wait. So there's a button right here on the side. So you can make wacky noises. This one, the button does nothing because the electronics don't work. I don't have batteries in it right now because the electronics don't work. But very cool armored car. And he shares something in common with Hound in the fact that all his wheels are stored in his legs and they fold out. So it's kind of a precursor because animated came out in 2007, same time as the movie, which kind of stole a little bit of its thunder, but I liked animated better. All right, roll test. Very nice. Both at the same time. You go about the same. This is not exactly the most scientific way to test them, but yeah. So very cool, Ultra Magnus and his repaint. Very cool repaint, Roadbuster Ultra Magnus. All right, our last one, because, you know, I gotta get to bed. Yes, I'm doing this late at night. So this here is actually Transformers Universe Firefight, which is kind of cool because, you know, aerial bots are on everyone's mind nowadays. Don't worry, you'll be getting to the aerial bots. Once I have them all, we're gonna do a mega review, which is what I did with the Stunticons. But so Firefight is a repaint of Nightcruz, who is in that 3-pack. And they're similar looking, but, you know, definitely different cool colors. But you're probably thinking, wait, didn't you say all 3 in that pack were repaints? Well, yes, because Nightcruz was a repaint of Spice Freak, who was a Viacon. And you can actually see his Viacon symbol right here. On Firefight, it's an Autobot symbol. On Nightcruz, it's just a ball. He's got an Autobot symbol somewhere, I think. On a wing. A wing. He's got it on a wing. A wing and a prayer. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's Nightcruz. Okay. I know I occasionally burst into song on this channel, and I apologize for those who don't enjoy it. So, some of the features, and we'll just demonstrate here with Nightcruz, is claw. Basically, you push this thing forward, which is difficult to do without holding the claw shut. But if you push it forward, it pops in and you have this big ass claw they can use. The other arm has these missiles, which actually launch and fly off the table. Well, one of them flew off the table, so I'll get it later. I think I got enough missiles here. So these were actually missile launching days, so it actually worked pretty well. Now, some posability. And we'll switch to Firefight for that, just for fun. So he was a Viacon and then ended up in Robots in Disguise, and then of course in Universe, because Universe loved repaints. And yes, there will be more Universe repaints in future videos. But look at that, full toes up Jean-Claude Van Damme. Quite posable. Kicks forward, tries to kick back, but gets, you know, part of his airplane stuff in the way. Sidekick, full sidekick. Arms can actually go all the way around. You got to maneuver a little bit. Well, this arm can. And you got missiles. This arm, again, you have to maneuver it a little bit. And you can actually move the shoulders up like so. The head can actually turn all the way around. So it's actually pretty cool. I do enjoy this mold. He doesn't have normal hands, but he's a cool looking Cybertronian. 2 Autobots and a Viacon. You know, this Viacon could be reformed. And there he is with the claw. So yeah, not super tall, 4 inches. And it actually looks like they all have like from, was it Energon crystals on their chest, but they're not removable. They're just there. But all right, let's put them into vehicle mode. They do have swivel, by the way. I don't know if I showed that, but they do have swivel. Oh, and the crystals in the front have a purpose. Push him down, he tracks the head. So there they are, 3 very cool jets, 2 repaints of the original Spy Streak, Firefight and Nightcruz. And I have to say, some of these Beast Machines molds were really, really cool. I mean, the show might not have been as good as it could have been, but even like the Jetstorm mold was very cool. They had all kinds of really neat stuff. I mean, was it Blast Punch or whatever, or Blast Charge? I could do without his, you know, 3-breasted self, but most of them are pretty cool. Now, in plane mode, if you push forward, you can open up the claw and fire the missiles. So I aimed down so they wouldn't go flying too far. But so then he's like a claw plane. But that's a pretty neat thing. And again, I like having repaints. He's got a Viacon symbol also on his wing. But I like having multiples of the same mold. Could basically have like armies of these jets coming at you, you know? It's kind of the equivalent of the Seekers if they were all on the same side. And, you know, we can make Spy Streak into an Autobot. But 3 jets coming at you, all the same mold, different colors, reminds me of Seekers. You know, so I love it. I'm a big fan of repaints, and these are some of the coolest ones. And it will take me a while, but I will put links to all these guys in the description. But there you have it. 6 very cool repaints and what they are based on. And in some cases, we got multiples. And I love having fun with repaints, and I hope you're having fun too. And if you are having fun watching these videos, by all means, feel free to subscribe. That would be great. And if you enjoyed this video of repaints, check out this one over here. Even more awesome repaints. And we'll see you next time. As always, have fun and good hunting.